This is the Backlog Exposed podcast with Kevin Lane and Joel Rubel, bringing you weekly discussions on gaming as well as quick insights into sports, entertainment, and anything else that they can think of. Be sure to check out the backlogexposed.com, where you can listen to the podcast and get links to Twitter, Discord, YouTube, and Facebook.
I'm Joe.
I'm Kevin.
And we are
The Backlog
Exposed. Yeah.
Now, gear up and get ready because this backlog is about to be exposed.
All right, I'm ready to go potato. Welcome everybody, episode 49. I'm just kidding. Don't play that.
No. That's going in, man. That's going in. We both, I don't know if you noticed, but I hit record, right? And
oh, yeah.
we both paused for just a minute. Now I'm looking at the audio file. Literally 2 seconds on the fucking money. We both started talking at the exact same time. Like it's literally lined up perfectly.
That's awesome, bro.
That's how on point we are.
Oh yeah, bro. Same brain waves, everything.
I mean, it does help that we got that neurological processor locked in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it also helps we got lucid sound headsets on our ears. What?
That is clear as day. So, I think you announced it pretty good, but just in case anyone didn't hear, it's 49, episode 49, 4/11/49, okay? And by that I mean it's April 11th, episode 49, and we are rocking it loud, we are rocking it proud. We got to do something here, Joe, to drum up some attention because, for the last, I'd say 9, 10, 11 months, we've been either putting this show together or, talking about it or actually just recording it, putting it out there for everybody to listen to. We've been mustering up some game plans. We've been mustering up some ideas. And, while we've been really hammering away, drilling home content on a weekly basis with the podcast, we've gone through a lot of changes, right? You've moved, I've moved, you've been injured, I've been injured, you've got a job that's busting your ass, I've got a job that's busting my ass, we got wives, we got kids. That is what the Backlog Exposed is all about. But we're about to turn it up. We're about to turn it up, and we're about to move on to the next phase of what we have going on. Joe, you want to tell them a little bit about, just some of the stuff we're looking forward to, such as like, people we might try to get or things we might be talking about, or even, hey, Twitch and YouTube.
Yeah, well, we gotta, we're always going to try to stream every chance we get. Lucid Sound's hooking us up pretty good. I got some good contacts with them. Also got some contacts started with Noble Chair Gaming.
Well, going back to Lucid real quick. I just wanted to ask you because, we'll get into that probably a little bit later in the show. I want to talk about the 41s that you talked me into here, but do you think, and this is, I'm putting Joe on the spot here, but do you think we could ever get anyone like a representative from Lucid Sound to kind of talk about the industry and, I don't know, maybe that's something you could work up for us?
Yeah, I have a couple of good contacts at Lucid, man. Sarah Atwood, I talk to her on a weekly basis about different things, about Lucid Sound headsets, promo codes. We talked quite a bit about PAX East, and I couldn't make it. I ended up talking to a couple other guys about it. I had to work, so I couldn't watch the Twitch stream and all that, so I was kind of pissed about that.
Yeah, one of the things I really want to get into, and the reason I think this would be beneficial, not just to sell the product, because obviously, Lucid would want to get on here to talk about to sell headsets, but the industry, when we're playing these games, right, it used to be put on a headset so that we can drown out the sound around us. But now we put on headsets to ensure that we have the best situation for the games we're playing, right? When you're playing Call of Duty or any of these Battle Royale games, it's critical to know if someone's beside you, above you, below you. And so companies like Lucid Sound, Turtle Beach, Astro, and Sennheiser, and all these other, high-end headset makers have to compensate for all the different games and all the different styles and all the different things. There's more than just shooters and battle royales out there. There's music, there's, just any standard game. So,
the Lucid Sounds I have, when I first started out with Lucid, I bought the LS20. And I was on the road in the military about, I'd say 10 days a month average. and I had LS20s in my backpack, and I used them as my music. I mean, but they were that good. You could use them for music. You could use them for gaming. And then I
But
ended up getting
absolutely.
a pair from Lucid, the LS31s. I got a pair from them, did a review on it. And, dude, they're phenomenal. They really are. I mean, they're super durable, made of metal, not that cheap-ass plastic.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to see my bite test.
My son throwed them around, and they're still going strong.
Well, one of the things that I want to do, because I want to be real on my reviews. With video games, I tend to try to, I wouldn't use the term give the benefit of the doubt, but I do like to set expectations before going in, right? If a game like Spider-Man is pumped up as the best game ever, and it's being touted as, you're not going to hate it, you're going to love it. Well, I expect nothing less, right? But if you have a developer who's young and brand new selling their game for $5, you have to come at that with a little bit of different mindset. Lucid is stepping into a space. I mean, they've been around for a little while now, but they're stepping into a space trying to get headphones out there. But all you see on the streamers is Turtle Beach or Astros or, some of these even higher end headsets.
Well, that's one of the things I was talking to Sarah about. I was like, you don't see Lucid Sound that much. And that's what I was asking. I was like, we need to figure out a way to spread the word. And that's when I asked her, could we talk about it on the podcast? And she was like, yeah, most definitely.
And one of the things,
our podcast, we're almost at 50 episodes, dude, with, almost 6,000 listens and averaging like 100 and something plus a download or an episode. I wouldn't be surprised if I talked to him and gave him shot him an email and was like, hey, at this day, this time, we're going to do a podcast, or what is a good time for us to, chat for 15, 20 minutes, and we'll just add that segment to a podcast with an introduction or whatever. I don't think it's far-fetched, man. I mean, hell, I have Sarah on my phone. I have her actual phone number, and I've actually texted her.
Hey, back up. Does Leanne know about this?
Leanne does know I have Sarah's number.
Heyo.
It's okay.
Heyo.
But I mean, matter of fact, a couple weeks ago, there was a guy messaged me on
Sarah,
Reddit.
Sarah, if you're listening, okay, back up. I know Leanne. All right, you back up. That's my Joe, and that's my Leanne. Just messing.
She just hit me in the back with a pin. That was awesome. But just a couple of weeks ago, some guy messaged me on Reddit and was like, "Oh, well, they don't sell or they don't ship overseas." And I was like, "Damn!" So I messaged Sarah like, "Hey, there's a guy wanting to get a pair of headset, but he's in Germany, blah blah blah." And she was like, "Oh yeah," and she gave me the website. It's the Amazon EU or Eastern Europe website, and I sent that link to him, and he was able to get a headset. So the team's small, man, but I mean, I think if they just keep going, they're going to be up there among some of the best headsets, which I think they already are. I've already had Turtle Beaches, and I don't like them.
So I guess we'll just jump into it right now because we're talking so much about it. So Joe got me, he hooked me up with a pretty solid discount code for some LS41s, which is the highest end headphones that Lucid Sound provides. They're touted as PlayStation 4 headphones, right? But they work with Xbox One, and they also work with your computer. And I guess they probably work with other systems as well if you could figure it out with, But those are the three main things, right? So the only problem with the Xbox One and the computer, or the Xbox One anyways, is you'd have to plug in like a 3.55 millimeter cable from the controller to the headset to get chat audio to work. But without that, if you're not chatting, you don't need it. It's completely wireless, and it sets up just as easy in both the PlayStation and the Xbox. So that being said, I'm not going to get too much into the review yet, but I'll say that initial review, I played probably about an hour now with the headset on, both on the Xbox and the PlayStation 4. And I mean, Joe ain't lying when he says it's a noticeable difference. Now I have, and I'm probably butchering this, but I'll just tell you all the headsets I got, right? I have Turtle Beach, the Elite 8000 RX, okay? Those are pretty expensive Turtle Beach headphones. I also have the Astro A50s. It's the version 2. They also have a version 3, which is a little bit more expensive and newer, but the version 2 is still pretty expensive. I think we're talking top almost $200, $250, $200, even more maybe. I do have some computer headphones, and these are wired headphones. And like I said, I'm going to butcher this name, but Sennheiser, and these are high-end headphones for the computer. Sennheiser. They're solid. They're really crisp, and they're really good for when I do the editing of the audio and things. And they also sound phenomenal when playing games on the computer. And these are, like I said, they're high-end. A couple hundred, $200-$300 for these. And then I have some Turtle Beach cheapos, $30 from the Walmart down the street. And I have earbuds, I would say probably $40 or $50 earbuds that are noise canceling earbuds. And then I have now these Lucid Sound LS41s. So what I want to do when I do my review is I want to tackle it from the perspective of I'm a 39-year-old man, okay? Am I going to be a professional gamer? No. Unless someone comes along and begs me to, and it's I have to tell them, I gotta.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
In reality, I'm I might pretend like I could possibly make it one day, but the reality is, podcasting's probably more of my style, my speed. So do I need it, right? Is it worth it to spend the extra $100-$200 on quality headphones as opposed to the earbuds or the thing that comes with the PlayStation? Like, that's what I want to do the review about for people who might be in the same situation as me. And Joe, you're a little bit younger than I am. I don't know how well your ears are holding up, but mine are starting to fade a little bit. They're not gone. I'm not going
What'd you
deaf.
say? I couldn't hear you. My ears were.
You almost got me there. But the reality is, when we talk about it, I want to just put the whole "is it worth it" thing out there, and I want to be real about it. Is it worth it to get a scuffed controller as opposed to the freaking controller you got? Probably not. Right? Not at $200. When maybe if it was like $20 more than a regular controller, yeah. But unless you're really training to be an elite gamer for real, like for real, it's not significant enough, in my opinion.
Or unless Scuff Gaming's listening to this podcast, we would love to try out a controller.
Well,
Just saying, we'll review it and write about it.
For sure. But the truth is, they go out and they provide all the elite gamers with these controllers, the ones that do the console gamers, and some of the PC gamers actually jump on the controller every once in a while, and they push it. But the whole point is, is it worth it from a regular user, an average Joe kind of perspective? And
I don't think any average person should own a Scuff controller.
But I'm not going to say they shouldn't
beneficial.
or should. But at the same time, is it worth it? And I'm going to just say, Joe, you have pushed this, and some people may say, oh, that's just a sales pitch. It's not. He's trying to be honest. This is like he's found a product that he believes in. He actually got me to spend some money on it, and now, like I said, I've only got an hour in, but I am going to give an honest review. Is it worth it or not? Would it be worth it for me to shell out that kind of money? And you can see I'm already talking about I do shell out that kind of money for some of these headsets. So I think I'm a classic example to be able to say yes or no. I am an average Joe, but I am also a guy who, hearing isn't the best right now. So maybe it isn't worth it, or maybe it is worth it. And I can't wait to do the review. Initial prospect is probably so, because I noticed a difference. Okay. And I'm just saying that
Before
right
we
now.
change subjects, though, I want to go back. You were talking about the Xbox One.
Yeah.
Lucid Sound does make a standalone headset for Xbox One and PC. It's called the LS35X. And it is 100% wireless. You don't need the cable to do chat. It's literally just like hooking up the LS31s or the 41s, except the technology built inside the 35X. It does both. It does both the chatting and audio at the same time. So if you're an Xbox user only, there is the LS35X as well.
So I'm going to assume that all these are probably of like quality. The construction seems pretty good. And you'll see, I'm going to be posting an unboxing video on the YouTube channel that's linked on our website. And pretty soon, hopefully, if we can start drumming up some views there and followers and whatnot, subscribers, we'll be able to designate a channel name. I guess you need 100 followers or something to be able to do that. So if you're listening and you could do that, friends, family, and listeners of the show, it would help us out to start, just going to our different links, like the Facebook link. One of the things you could do, an easiest way to do it, if you could remember this, Linktree is a new website I found where you can basically make bookmarks and send the bookmarks to people. So if you go to Linktree / the backlog pod, I think. Yeah, Linktree, and it's linktr.ee / the backlog pod. And you'll see all of our links. You got our YouTube, you got Team Emar Gaming on there, you got both of our Twitch channels. Just run down the list. Boom, 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 boom. Sub, ad. It'll take you less than 5 minutes to do that. It'll help us out immensely. And we couldn't thank you enough if you did it. So I'm going to be posting a box opening video for the LS41s. And then I got today a Focusrite Scarlett 2i4. What this is a second generation 2 input 4 output USB audio interface. And the reason I picked this up is I have a mixer, and it's a Behringer mixer that has about 8 inputs and a whole bunch of buttons and knobs and things. And it's not a top tier brand or model. Behringer's a pretty solid brand for the low end audio person. But I picked up this Scarlett 2i4 because it's more specific to what I want to do with the podcasting. Less inputs and outputs, and also better audio processing, reduces the buzz and things like that. According to the reviews I've seen out there, I'm going to do my own unboxing and my own review of that. And I buy so much damn shit, Joe, on YouTube,
oh, I know, dude. You always
Amazon.
buying all kinds of money. You need to go ahead and send me some checks, man.
Hey,
Stop
man.
spending all that money. I can help you.
I know. But I'm going to, I buy so much stuff. Why not start, at least doing reviews or unboxings or both to let people know what's out there. And I know a lot of times I buy stuff and I'd like to see what it looks like before I do. But I'm going to ask, on my unboxing videos and stuff, what do people want to see? Do you want to see a 15-minute slow unboxing where I'm joking around and talking to the audience? Or do you want to see like a 2-minute boom, boom, boom? So get on there when you see these videos and comment. Tell me if it's taken too long. Tell me if you want to see something or if it's funny or what. My LS41's first unboxing I've ever done. It's probably going to be like a 20-minute video because I just was having fun with it. But Focusrite, that'll probably be like a minute or two because it's just a box with a thing in it. So, all right, Joe. I want to ask you about some of the things that on the last episode, which wasn't even supposed to be an episode, basically I just fired up the microphone and wanted to run down some things that I wanted to talk with you about before we kind of dive a little bit more into Borderlands and Borderlands 3 and a little bit more and all that. And I ended up talking for an hour to myself. I don't know how that happens, but as you can tell right now, I don't shut up. So I'm going to start with 2 or 3 things. I'm going to toss it over to you. So first and foremost, my studio, I would say it is essentially complete. What that means is for the last couple of months, I've been talking about getting the studio going and starting up some channels of YouTube and doing some more stuff. Well, it's going down. Okay. I got my studio set up. Joe's coming to actually be here in person. We're going to be doing some live podcasting.
Oh yeah. Coming June. June.
And I can't wait for that. So if you have anything specific you want to see come out of us, something silly, something stupid, send it. I'll try to make something like that happen. Our channel is not going to be specific to one thing. It's going to be all over the place because we're going to find out what's going to work, right? Obviously, it's going to stick to a gaming theme. But if I want to talk about WrestleMania, I'll do it. If I want to talk about my kids pissing me off, I'll do it. Okay, that's how it's going to go. And if that stuff doesn't take, then I'll probably stick to what works. But we'll definitely do the unboxings, and Joe's going to have access to put stuff out there if he wants, but he also has his Team Emar Gaming channel, and I want you to subscribe to that as well, because he puts a lot of stuff out there with funny clips and ridiculous sniper shots, and there's a reason we call him Sergeant Sniper.
Sergeant Sniper!
All right, so 1 or 2 more things, Joe, and then I'm going to just chuck something over at you. Okay.
Let's hear it.
I'm going to mention this. I mentioned it a little bit last week, but we got the Fortnite podcast, okay? Too Loud TX and Monster Face, they put together, I call it the official, unofficial Fortnite podcast because I don't think that they're endorsed by Fortnite. However, Monster does a lot of Fortnite events, and they both cast. So Troy is Too Loud TX. He actually casts. He's done some Fortnite casting, and I know he does Apex Legend tournaments and stuff. So he's in the industry. He puts a hell of a lot of work into his podcast. It's professional. It's very uplifting. It's yes, it's Fortnite. So if you're burnt out on it, I don't know if you'd like to listen, but I think you would, because it's about gaming and it's about the industry, and they talk about a whole bunch of things, but they stick to a Fortnite theme, and they do a really good job. I'm trying to get Troy on, and we've talked a little bit. That's the kind of stuff we're going to start bringing to the table is some outsiders who have some influence elsewhere who can bring their insight. I wouldn't ask him to tell Joe why Joe should come on back to Fortnite, but at the same time, he might have some excitement in his voice. He might make Joe think twice about turning that game on and jumping back in. Exactly. So that's why I want to bring him in and hear his point. They're also having a huge $30 or $40 million tournament coming up. It's the biggest gaming tournament ever, and Fortnite's putting it on. It's called the World Cup, and anybody can enter. Obviously, only the best will win, right? It's going to finally come down to 100 people, the best 100 in the world. But it's super interesting how they're putting this together, and they're pumping it out, but they're also making changes to the game while they do this. They're sticking to their epic ways, and they're making changes that impact the game negatively with bugs.
Dude, I can't even follow them no more, bro.
I know.
On Reddit, it's just every day. It's like, oh, we added this gun, we took this out, we changed this. Oh, look at this map. Oh, look at that. I'm like,
well, Troy brought up an awesome point, and in his last podcast I was listening, and he said they have changed the face of gaming. Okay, before Fortnite, you would never demand weekly notifications and updates from your developer of your video game. And never before has this happened where you're like, hey, look, I haven't heard from you in a week about what you're doing right now to fix our game right now. I mean, when when a game comes out, you don't hear about updates for months. But now it's like, okay, day one patch, and you might get if there's an unsettled environment out there talking shit about a game, you might get a patch after a patch after a patch, like Anthem. However, Fortnite comes along and they're delivering new content almost every day. I mean, like, it's amazing. And while you love them or hate them, it's changed the face of the game. You see Apex Legends comes out and they're trying to keep up with the same type of mentality. They're on Reddit talking to all their users. These teams, these developers, these companies have to hire PR teams to come in and manage social media at a level that has never been seen before. And it's because of Fortnite. The fans, there's so many new gamers because of Fortnite. And so when they have a podcast with such influence, and I think they're hitting they're about to hit their millionth download, which is a significant number. These guys, they have been through it for a little while, and they have some influence. So they're sick of the pessimism and the community, and they're trying to get the other streamers to stop the toxicity in gaming and stuff. So they have a very positive mission when they're talking about the game, and they're not blind to the negatives, but they also try to keep a positive, upbeat mentality. So Fortnite podcast, 2LTX and Monster D-Face, check them out. Again, if I can, I'm going to get Troy on, and we'll go from there. But all right, Joe, outside of gaming, I got to ask, do you watch Game of Thrones?
I do not watch Game of Thrones, my kind sire.
Well, you're in for a treat because you have about, let's see, what are they, 8 seasons in? I think you have about 70 hours of show to watch before Sunday night.
Oh, yeah, I'm down.
All right. So on Sunday night, we got season 8 of Game of Thrones. Now, I'll fill you in a little bit, Joe. Game of Thrones is started off as a book series by George R.R. Martin. It's been written over the last 20, 30 years. The following is profound and unimaginable.
Where does that take? I can't remember where it takes place though. Or where was it? The books written at?
Yeah, the books are written in a world called Westeros, and basically it's a fictional land. It's a sci-fi type, wizards and dragons type series. However, it's not over the top with its wizards and dragons until later on in the series. And there's really no wizards. It's you have sightseers and things like that, minor magical abilities, little things. But it's more about the politics, right? So you have this world where it's called the Game of Thrones for a reason. You have all these different houses, and the houses rule the lands, the different parts of Westeros. And they're vying for the throne. And whoever controls the 4 kingdoms, or the 7 kingdoms, or whatever it is, they basically are the rulers, right? But there's always someone trying to kill the ruler. So, whose side is who on, who's behind whose back. It's one of those, it's a drama-filled, battle-filled sex-filled dragon show. And it's truly one of the most amazing book series you could read. George R. R. Martin has put so much detail, all the way down to like the color of people's eyeballs and skin and tongues sometimes, like you just, every detail you can imagine this guy writes about. His books tend to be extra long because of how detailed and how intricate he puts these plot lines in. And HBO adapted it into a TV show. And for the first 4 or 5 seasons, I mean, it was word for word for the book. It was just unbelievable how they nailed it. Problem is, George R. R. Martin is getting older. He looks to be really out of shape. He looks to be like he could have a heart attack anytime and die, right? So fans of the show, have been waiting for the last 2 books. And he was supposed to deliver those books before the show's ever really started. They've been waiting 7, 8 years now for the next book, and he has not delivered book 7 or 8. We're already through book 7 in the show, and season 8, here we come. It's the last 8 episodes or 6 or 8 episodes of the entire series. And some people have literally been waiting their entire lives to find out certain things. But yeah, they've been waiting their entire lives to find out like the answers to questions that they heard 30 years ago. And some of those answers came last season, the end of season 7, you got confirmation. They were just rumors or theories before, but now it's legit. And season 8 I guess they filmed the biggest battle scenes ever in recorded history. Multiple versions, multiple battles.
Damn.
And so it's going to be action-packed. It's going to be crazy, but it starts on Sunday night. And I know I'm only mentioning it because I'm a huge geek on Game of Thrones. And I know we're going to be talking about it as the next 6 or 7 episodes come out. One of the other things they did release was the length of every episode. So the first couple are about 50-something minutes long. But for those of you who aren't aware, the last 4 are going to be like an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and 30 minutes. So they're going a full, almost a half an episode longer for each show. And it seems like they're going to write out certain storylines because there's a lot to get to over these last episodes. They're going to write them out. And obviously the episodes have been cut to a specific length so that they can tell the story the way they need to, as opposed to end it and hope you come back next season. They don't need that anymore. They know you're going to come back. Now they just have to do it right and finish off strong. Joe, I do recommend you jump into this show. It's not a show that you could watch and not like, in my opinion. It's just unbelievable. It pulls you in really quick, and it's really, really good, really drama-filled, and the acting is phenomenal. So that's my take on Game of Thrones. I thought you were going to say you did like it, and then I thought we were going to talk about it for a bit. That was going to be my pass over to you, but
no, man, it's all good. I just never really got into it. I've watched a couple episodes of it. I mean, what I watched was pretty cool. I mean,
oh yeah, man,
it's just something I don't really get into.
Hey, are you me?
I'm me and not you.
That's right. And you're not going to be changing that name, are you?
Sure as hell ain't.
That's right. You said it before, and I think you're going to say it again. Now, this kind of came as a shock to me. Today, they officially announced that name changes are back on the table, or are finally on the table for users of the PlayStation Network. If you've been listening to the podcasts for a while, I was on an early beta version of the PlayStation software, and I was able to change my name a couple months ago. I've gone through 2 name changes. I have not experienced any issues, but there are some people who have mentioned that certain save files for certain games and stuff might have been corrupted or whatever.
I mean, you're going to get that no matter what. Anytime you change something, it's not going to be perfect. That's why.
Yeah. What's your take
I'm
on
not
this, though?
changing it.
You think it's about time, or do you think not that big of a deal?
I think it's about time, man, because, you got to think, in 2007, I got back from, I was deployed, and that's when the PlayStation came out, or when I first bought a PlayStation, and, and you get a name and you pick it, and you're kind of stuck with it, you know what I mean? Yep. And you get frustrated because, for instance, my nephew came over a couple of weeks ago with his Nintendo Switch. It literally took an hour and a half to get him a name.
Oh yeah, there's so
millions
many
of people. So when you first get this, you're going to put in what you want, and you're not going to get it. So then you end up with some stupid shit like,
Smoking Fatties 420.
Yeah, Hottie 2 Toddy 7790554 2010. And you're just like, what the fuck is this? Mm-hmm. And then finally, they're like, all right, look, you can change your name, and you can take the time.
Yeah.
And really try and find out.
Because you're so excited when you're firing that shit up. You don't want to sit there and go through
Exactly,
1,000.
man. When you get this new system, you just want a name and you want to play.
Yep.
And that's how me and Not You came along. Because I sat there and I sat there and I sat there. And I'm like, man, everything that I put in here, and I was putting some goofy shit in, and it was taken. And I was like, all right, no one's going to have Me and Not You. I bought my wife a PlayStation.
You're Me and Not You 41 though, right?
No. I'm just Me and Not You. Me and Not YOU.
Where's
So
the
then
41?
I tried. Me and Not You 41 is my email address.
Oh shit. Okay, I'm sorry. We can cut that out if you don't want people knowing it.
And then my wife got a PlayStation. She's Me and Not You 2. I got my son a PlayStation. He's Me and Not You 3. And Caleb's Me and Not You 4. We don't fuck around in this household, son. But
No.
but I think it's kind of cool. I mean, you get one free one, obviously. And I like how they did that because they give you that free one. And right after you use that free one, about 2 weeks goes by, you're like, damn, I'm going to change my name to this. Oh, wait, I used my free one. Fuck it, I'll give them $5. And they're going to make millions of dollars off of these $5 name changes.
They're going to wish they had done this a long time ago because...
because think about it. I think today I saw a guy change his name on Fortnite to like revert because, you know, the big posts going around Reddit are like they should quit or they should revert it back to season whatever, revert. And someone changed their name to Revert, you know, on Fortnite. And next week that same guy's probably going to change his name to, you know, whatever. And they're just going to keep making $5 or $10 off name changes, and they're going to make millions and millions of dollars off of it. So I think it's smart.
I was trying to think of a new name. I got the Kamikaze Earl, but you know, when I play, man, people don't know how to say Kamikaze. Before that, I had the Backlog Pod, and people didn't know how to say that. I might as well just go back to Earl's Tees because I never had a problem with that one.
Yeah, man.
It's just
it's
Earl's
cool though, man. I think it's
old
about
news.
time they did
What do you
something
think?
like that, though. I mean, Xbox has had this for a while.
Yeah, forever, man. What do you think, though? Earl's Tees, is that old news? I mean, should I stick with Kamikaze?
Earl Tees is old news, bro, because you don't have that T-shirt coming no more. But you know you can fire that shit back up and start selling some Backlog exposed T-shirts.
I know. I got it ready. You know, we'll probably get into that at some point soon because
I don't see why you don't fire it back up, dude. Get a couple prints going.
Yeah, I could.
We could sell them. That'd be a way to spread the word.
You know, we got to do. So, because I always talk about it, over the weekend we had WrestleMania 35. We also had NXT TakeOver New York. Pretty big weekend for wrestling, guys. And I'm not going to get into too much, but our boy Todd and his tag team partner Raymond Rowe, so Rowe and Hanson, the War Raiders, they won the match. They kept the belts. It was a clean pinfall, and it was a hell of a fucking match. I mean, even those who don't like wrestling, you can watch that and just be like, holy shit, look at that big dude do that stuff. This guy, 305 pounds, doing front flips off the turnbuckle onto the cement floor outside. Just really ridiculous stuff. A couple of my buddies who have known Todd for, going back to high school, we're all in a little chat together, Joe, and like on Facebook. And so when this stuff's going down, we're all chatting and, oh my God, look at this. And, he had this match where, I mean, again, this is imagine just one of your, Todd and I were never close, but we knew each other very well. And, he's standing there in the middle of a ring. He's a beast of a man now. I mean, he's a big dude and, just the perfect wrestler. He's got a beard down to his belly button. He's a big dude. And, he's standing there in the middle of the ring and the crowd is chanting Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? Like 20,000 people are going ballistic over what this guy did. He put on a show. All four of the guys in the match put on a show, but this one guy really went above and beyond on Friday. And it was really cool to see, somebody I know. I mean, I grew up like a maniac as a wrestling fan. I watched every single event and loved every second of it. I looked at these people like icons, Ultimate Warrior, Dusty Rhodes. I mean, they were all like just the favorite things I had in life. And now my buddy's one of them. My kids see him on TV and they look at him as like a Hulk Hogan figure. And I can text him.
That's
you know what I mean?
Though.
It is. It's pretty cool. But how amazing must that feel to have 20,000 people chanting Hall of Fame, and you're not even.
Give us about another 2 years. We'll find out.
That's true, dude. But I think we should go in as Unbreakable. We'd be the tag team, or Mr. Glass and
oh yeah,
Mr. Glass and Mr. Broken Arms. But anyways, I just want to point that out. He did a really good job. If you haven't had a chance, check it out. Just YouTube NXT TakeOver New York War Raiders. You'll see some crazy stuff, flips, just a bunch of stuff that you've never really, seen a big dude do. And he puts himself to the limit. They got to send off Aleister Black and Ricochet, who are actually behind the scenes some friends of theirs. They went on and got the promotion up to the big show, so they're on SmackDown now, or Raw, or both. And now they're putting on a show for the bigger audience. We hope that Todd, by next year, makes it to Raw or SmackDown so that he can appear on WrestleMania, because WrestleMania is going to Tampa. Tampa was my home for almost 10 years, and actually more than 10 years. I have a house in that general vicinity. I have some good friends over there, and I plan on going to WrestleMania 36 in Tampa to cheer on the Vikings, the War Raiders, and I just think it would be bittersweet to be able to go down and actually see him in WrestleMania, because that's the biggest show, one of the biggest shows in the world for sports and sports entertainment. It compares to the Super Bowl in revenue and all that. It's just an unbelievable, unprecedented event. And it's a spectacle, and for him to actually, if he actually makes it next year, would be pretty cool, pretty groundbreaking for a small group of friends. Yeah, so I wanted to bring that up. I think it's a special thing, and I'm also in talks with him. I know we talked about this probably about 6 months ago, but I'd love to get him on the show. It's very hard to get WWF wrestlers, or I'm sorry, Jesus, I'll never get him on the show with that. WWE wrestlers, it's hard to get them doing stuff like this because they have to be squared away through real PR departments that have been doing this shit for many, many years. And they might look at us and say, nah, no way we'd let you go on there. But I'm going to follow through with the proper authorities, or whoever can allows me to make the request. He's going to help me at least get in touch with the right people. They can tell me yes or no. And if they do say yes, we're going to pump that episode up, Joe. And I'm going to have you watch a couple matches of his before we get him on, because I want you to be impressed. This guy, he's a mover, man. He's a big dude who can move faster than you and me. And we'll try to get him and his tag team partner, Raymond Rowe, on.
That'd be badass, though.
Yeah, it would. Talk about their careers, the things that these guys, you'd be surprised some of the stuff that these guys have to go through to get to the big show. And like I said, he's been doing this since 1998, 1999. He's just been dedicating his entire life to it, 20-something years. And it's not an easy road. Man, the first 10 years is like scrounging for scraps and living 4 to an apartment, riding together 300 miles to get to the next event. That's what they have to go through. And then you finally break through and it becomes a little bit easier and a little bit easier. Well, then you finally, if you make it, you're one of the small group of people who makes it to a WWE contract. Life changes. Now he's a superstar, and a true superstar. He's wrestled in Tokyo. He's wrestled in, all over the world. Probably for decent money, but at the same time, you're never really there until you're in the WWE, and he's there. So I'd love to chat with him. I'm super proud of him. It's something, you see a friend or even anybody live their dream. And, I want to be an astronaut. And it's like, holy shit, they're getting on a space shuttle. It's happening. This guy's got his space shuttle. So can't wait to talk to him if we get a chance, and that'd be so cool. What's your take on this new PSVR? I'm sorry. I won't say PSVR, the new DualShock 5 mock-up that we were looking at, and the new, I don't know if you've seen any of the updates on the PS5 specs or discussions, but we're talking, this system's supposed to be a killer.
Legit. If that's a legit controller, that's gonna be badass.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool, doesn't it? With the touch screen.
I like that LCD screen. Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of Elgato products where you got the digital buttons and being able to program it and stuff. It would only make sense that these controllers, I mean, they're trying to make money, right, off of all these products. These controllers, if they're gonna have a screen on them, they're gonna be $100 a pop, don't you think?
Oh, more than that, man. They're $70 right now, and they're fucking plastic.
Yeah, if the next generation doesn't come with paddles on the back, like the Scuffs, I'm gonna be super disappointed. And also with the ability to remap the keys. I mean, if you want to talk, you've seen all these discussions about PC versus console, they'll never be the same. But all it takes is a couple more buttons and the ability to remap them on your own, just like a keyboard. And, all these developers stick to a pretty solid build, but sometimes you just want something somewhere else, and they don't give that option to you. Fortnite's a great example. And so you have to go with what they give you the chance to do and the options they. What if I wanted to use a keyboard, map it to my controller, and change it out every once in a while, or be able to hit a button and have a completely different mapping, all this stuff. I mean, they have tools to do that. The Scuff has the tools to do that. I have this Control Freaks adapter for my PlayStation, my DualShock 4. It allows me to do it. So I want that baked in. What do you think? Customization.
I mean, yeah, I totally agree, man. Button customization would be awesome.
Yeah, and it would help level the playing field. It's kind of funny, not to go too much deeper into Fortnite, but all the stuff going on before the World Cup, kind of touched upon it a little bit before. They're willing to do anything, even if it pisses off their main base. They had an update, and the update was to give, every time you kill somebody, you get 50 health, 50 shield, or 50 shield, and 50 of each material, right? So it incentivized killing. It incentivized being aggressive. And it was a change that not many people were aware was going to be so delightful. A common player, whether if you're just like, a 4-year-old playing, you don't care if you get kills or wins or, if you die or whatever, you just jump in and you jump out and you jump in, you jump out. But, say Jagger's playing and he gets a kill. Well, now he has some more health. He's going to get killed either way, right? Let's be honest. But it was an incentive. Like it was now even he's being a little bit more aggressive. Well, they had that in there for a couple of weeks, and then out of nowhere, they took it away. And a lot of people online are saying, oh, stop being crybabies. This was brand new just a couple weeks ago. How can you cry? And then other people like Dr. Lupo came out and they said, it's kind of like, a pizza. You might love cheese pizza. It's the only thing you've ever known. Well, then all of a sudden someone comes along and throws some sausage and pepperoni on there. And now you're like, oh, that's a good pizza. That's a better pizza. I love this pizza. Oh my God, that's my favorite pizza. And then you order another pizza and it comes and it's just a cheese. And you're like, oh no, can I get that sausage pepperoni? And they say, nope, we're all out. And you get bummed out, right? You don't know what you don't know until you have it. And fans of Fortnite loved the change that granted them the bonus per kill, and they took it away. And they really didn't give anybody another option until today or yesterday. They introduced the respawn van. So similar to Apex Legends, where when a teammate gets downed and killed, you can go pick the card up off their body and you can bring it over to a respawn van. And, it's a little dangerous because it starts honking the horn and, going all crazy, but you can bring your teammate back one time, I think, per game. And so it gives it, still an incentive to be aggressive because, you could potentially come back, but also it's a way to keep the teams around a little bit longer. And again, that's something you didn't know you wanted until you had it. If you're playing Apex,
yeah, pretty much.
That was a really big bonus in Apex Legends, and it was big enough for Epic to see and implement into their game. So I think that's why they took away the other thing, right? The bonus per kill, because they knew they were bringing this in, but it should have been timed accordingly. It pissed off a lot of fans. And then the other thing that they did is for the World Cup, they're restricting the view of the screen. Now, Joe, we talked about this a while back, about how people had the stretch resolution. Remember that? And it was like ugly and people were getting pissed off because they couldn't play with stretch resolution during some of the tournaments.
Yeah.
Well, this World Cup, they're locking the resolution. So even if you try to play stretched, it will put black bars on your screen and shrink the viewable image accordingly. And they're doing that because console players are going to be in the same pool in this tournament. And it's a $30 million tournament, right? They have every right to restrict whatever the hell they want. If they want to make, 360p the default resolution, it's their game. You don't have to play it. That's how I look at it. Now, yes, these people dedicate their lives and their streams and all that, but you know what? It's a year old, okay? They've only been dedicating their lives and their streams for a couple of months, and I think it's awesome that Epic has given them that platform, that Twitch has given them that platform, but at the same time, you're playing a game that changes every day, so you got to learn to adapt. And if you're sticking to somewhat of a cheating method, and I think that's a cheating method, to stretch your screen when other teammates and other people cannot do that, and it gives you an edge. Obviously, it gives you an edge because if you say you're better with a really horrible looking screen that does not look good, most people buy really good computers because they want it to look as good as possible. And these people buy good computers so that they can put the resolution as low as possible and stretch it, super wide, so they don't even look at the same game you're looking at. But it gives them an edge because they can see the characters better because it widens the sprite on the screen. And I find that's don't know if it's cheating, right? If they can do it legally, but at the same time, it's working
It's not really
around.
cheating, but it's kind of
It's fucked up.
another upper advantage.
Now, it will be cheating if they find a way to do it in the World Cup, even though it's prohibited. So, anyways, people are really bitching about that. A lot of people are saying after the World Cup or when they're eliminated from the World Cup, they're done from Fortnite. We've talked about that a lot too. What really does that mean for Fortnite, and will it really happen? They're making billions. They're going to do something else. They're going to pull these streamers right back in. Maybe a couple will go. There's others that will come in their stead, and they're going to stay strong for a while until they do something really, really stupid. But they obviously looked at data, and they obviously saw that those overzealous, aggressive players were causing younger players or newer players to back off and not come back to play because they're getting creamed right out the gate. They're a lot, just like Google. Everything they do from here on out is going to be about the data they see and not the people bitching on Twitch.
I believe it.
So, all right, we're I could talk your ear off all night. I'll hold some VR talk for next week because I do have a couple of updates on the VR stuff, but they are a little bit further out, like No Man's Sky and stuff. So, I'm gonna give you a week to pick up that VR unit. Listen,
Right, man,
I'm kidding. Joe gets so mad at me because he knows I'm right about this. He's gonna lose his mind the second he gets in there and starts playing some Beat Saber. But and actually, you know what? I was telling Joe earlier today. Leanne's gonna be the one. She's gonna go nuts on that Beat Saber because she kills it at Guitar Hero. So, but I said show it to her because she'll be the one out there buying it.
Dude, Beat Saber does look pretty fun, though, I have to tell you.
Yeah, it is a different style, man. It's a revolutionary. Even though it's so basic, it's like 300 megabytes to download and everything. It's such a basic concept, but revolutionary in the idea that they're getting you active. You have to move to get higher scores. You can't just stand there and swing your arms. You have to get your body up. The further your arm travels for each movement, the higher the score. So you can just tap your wrists and get a perfect score or a perfect hit every single time. But if you pull your arm back like you're swinging a tennis racket, you're going to get a higher score because you're making bigger movements. It's riskier to do. And so obviously you also need to try to hit the center of the block as well. But that's one way to, max out your score is to be dancing around the freaking room like a maniac with this headset on. And it works up a sweat, man. I'll tell you what, you put that thing on and you dance around the room for 3 or 4 songs, you're literally sweating and panting. So.
Oh yeah, I believe it. I was sweating when I played Guitar Hero playing the drums.
I'll tell you what, I told Joe I'll buy Borderlands 1 if he goes along and buys the PlayStation VR. I know that's a bit of a stretch. That's
not even fair price comparison.
It's
$30 compared to $250.
It is when you spend $150 on a Xbox that sits in the box, right? You don't even know if that Xbox is in there because you haven't opened it.
I'm not gonna open it. I have a Xbox One S Battlefield 5 edition sitting in my room.
But you could
unopened
have a VR sitting on your head.
Nah, I'm good.
Yeah, folks. June. Okay, June is when it all changes. June is when Joe puts that thing on. I throw him behind some drive club, put him in front of the wheel, and this kid's gonna be flying himself around curves like a nut, like he's never ever done before. Okay, he plays racing games. He's good at racing games. Well, Wipeout is gonna blow his fucking mind. He's gonna put Wipeout in this thing. He's gonna be like, all right, it's done.
Hey, you might be telling the truth on that one.
I am.
If racing is that good, I might have to check it out.
Joe, racing, I suck at racing, and I went and bought the whole wheel setup, okay? I bought the wheel setup because when you put that shit on, the headset and everything, and you're sitting down, the only thing that you get motion sickness for in racing would be the same thing as if you're truly in a car. Because you feel the dips and you feel the turns like your brain expects them to. So it's not weird. It's not like I was telling you earlier, there's such a difference between what you experienced, which is terrible. Okay, I'm not going to lie. The motion sickness that you experienced is not the same as if you're on a roller coaster and you lose your breath for a second or you feel that dip. Remember when we did the VR on Superman, the roller coaster,
dude.
And you found my key? Like the savior.
Oh yeah, we found that key.
But like, yeah, that feeling, right? You didn't get sick there, but you felt the dips. I mean, obviously we were going down the roller coaster too, but it was like mesmerizing because you're seeing something and it matches up to the movements you're doing. Well, the racing games kind of pull that in, and they do it very well. So your brain is expecting. The only thing that really throws me off in the racing games is when you spin out of control and your body and your brain is thinking you're spinning out of control for real, because in your eyes see that and you're not. Or if you hit the wall in the game but you don't feel it in your body, you kind of expect and you brace yourself to like hit the wall because it's there, and you don't feel the wall, and it feels weird because it takes you out of the element, out of the the world that you're in. But there are some games, I'm not gonna lie, a couple of them have set me off to the point where I can't put the headset on for days because it's like a gut wrenching, tormented, twisting sickness that lasts and persists. And it's because it's like in your brain. It's not truly in your stomach. It's like you fucked up your brain because, and developers are working their ways around it. I haven't heard much about motion sickness, not like it used to be, because some of these developers are coming around. A lot of it is the sensitivity of the game and the camera working on the drift, because in some games there's a slight drift where the camera is just every couple of seconds it's moving a millimeter to the left, right? And it just continues, and then finally you take it off and you realize you're looking in a completely opposite direction that you expected to be. And your brain is seeing that. Even though you might not notice it, your brain does. It notices the world's moving a little bit that it shouldn't be. Those little things, they're ironing out. And then on the PlayStation 5 coming out, either later this year or probably next, they just released today that most likely the headset's going to be wireless for the VR. And that would be a phenomenal advancement.
Yeah, that would be pretty badass.
Yeah. And you'll see it more adapted once it is, okay? A lot of people got these cell phone holders that can make, virtual cell phones. And, Lord knows the porn industry has jumped on that. And, I'm sure if you're technologically advanced enough, you can figure out how to get that shit to work on your PlayStation as well. But innovation is, we wouldn't have Netflix or YouTube without the porn industry. So why not VR, right?
No kidding.
And also, I will just touch on it, but we'll get into it deeper as it gets closer. But we got Iron Man VR coming out and No Man's Sky VR. No Man's Sky's been out for years, and Joe and I used to play the hell out of that game. And we loved it. Everyone, yeah, man, remember everyone was shitting on that game, and we were like, I don't know what you're shitting on. This is fun. We had a lot of fun, and now they've updated it a ton. They've made it the game that everyone hoped it would be, and they're putting the VR aspect in there. And I'm jumping in day one with the VR. I don't even care if it makes me sick. I'm fucking doing it. But Joe, Iron Man VR. Check out a video or two on that. I was actually going to pass on that one when I first saw it, because a lot of these adaptations will be like, oh, Spider-Man VR and Avengers VR. They're just sales pitches. They're 5-minute demos of stupid things, and it's not even close to what you want it to be. Well, this one's a full game, and they're saying that the controls are innovative, and this is a legit sale. Like, this is a worthy game of buying and putting the Iron Man name on, supposedly. I'm hyped about it. So I know you like your Iron Man and your Marvel, so we'll see.
Oh yeah.
I'm telling everybody, June.
I'll give it a shout.
He's gonna be sitting in my studio. I'm gonna put him up against the Backlog Exposed podcast wall, and I'm gonna make him wear my sloth mask. And he's gonna say, "You are right, Kevin," with my sloth mask.
I don't know about all that. Let's not get crazy.
All right. You ever play Samurai Showdown back in the day, Joe?
Yeah.
Remember that game with the huge swords and all? They're coming out, man. June, we're getting a next-gen Samurai Showdown. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I vaguely heard about it, but didn't look into it too terribly much.
No, but if I recall, I remember playing that. I was a huge Nintendo guy, and I think that was a Genesis game, if I recall correctly. And it might have even been a PlayStation game for all I know. But I remember playing it and really loving it when I was a kid. It looks pretty good. I mean, they're putting out the next generation graphics style when you compare it to some of these other fighting games, like Street Fighter on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, as well as the last Mortal Kombat. But Joe,
Mortal Kombat 11's coming out, man. I can't wait for that. I got to get that on the Switch.
That's what I want to ask you about, because you were talking about, are you going to get it on the Switch?
Yeah.
That might not be a bad idea. I didn't think about it on the Switch.
I think it'd be pretty cool to get on the Switch.
Yeah, because you could take it wherever you go. That's the kind of game that would be perfect on the Switch for me. Oh, And we both got that online so we could play online together too.
Oh yeah.
You played the hell out of Mortal Kombat growing up, right? You were saying?
Oh yeah, dude. I played the shit out of that game.
And who was your guy? You said Noob Saibot?
Noob Saibot was the dude.
He was badass. Boone, you know that was named after the creator, right? Boone Tobias Boone. Noob Saibot.
I also played a lot of Cyrax. That dude was fun too.
I know the term noob has been around for a long time. I'm fairly certain that noob started because of Noob Saibot.
Probably.
And then it was adapted because noob is newbie over the years. But I'm pretty sure when Noob Saibot came out, because he was supposed to be like a shitty character at first, like just an unlockable whatever. And then of course
he
now
teleported to that ground and fucked you up.
Yes, he did. So noob. Yeah, the kids of today, now they call them bots. Noobs or bots. Let's see. Rage 2. I'm just going down a list, Joe, just to get your take on some of this stuff. You ever play Rage 1?
Did not.
So Rage 1, check it out if you ever get a chance. It's a lot like Borderlands. It's not Borderlands. I'm not going to call it Borderlands.
No, don't even get me started.
But it is
There's nothing like Borderlands.
It is. Rage 1 was actually, I remember playing it. I did not beat it, but not because I didn't like it. I think it was at the time where I was switching over to the PlayStation 4 or something. But it was good. Rage 1 was a good game. I had a lot of fun with it. And it had a Borderland-esque feel to it to me. I think I sent you the video on the preview for Rage 2, but they're putting a ton of money into this, and they actually hired the guy from NBA Jam. If you recall, way back when, the guy goes, he's on fire! That guy?
He's on fire!
Yeah, they hired that guy to do voiceovers for the game, and so all the different things you do when you're killing people, you got that guy just pumping into your ear, boom, shakalaka! He's on fire! And so when you watch the video, you're like, holy shit, I want to play this, because not only does it have a Borderlands feel to it, the cell shading and the graphics and everything, but it's one of those just run and gun, blow everybody up, rage, go nuts, kill everybody, and then you got the he's on fire guy pumping you up. The video at least looks pretty badass, but anyways, you gotta check that out. All right, what do we got next? Shazam. You bring your boy to see Shazam yet?
Dude, I did not. We went and watched Captain Marvel though.
Well, how was that? Tell me, because I gotta.
Dude, it was badass.
Was it?
Everybody was shitting on it, and I liked it.
Well,
good story. The character. I mean, she plays a good Captain Marvel. I mean, it's. I think she did good, man. Everybody else was shitting on it. Me and the family went to it. Leanne really liked it.
Well,
there's some funny parts in it. There's some, just it's a solid movie, man.
Let's get real for a minute here, because politics get in the way of a lot of things, right? And I think the reason, and actually I'm fairly certain that the reason this had such a negative take was she had given an interview, and don't quote me, I can't be quoted here, but I remember seeing an interview or a link to an interview where she made a comment about, like, if men don't like it, then don't watch it, or something like that, right? And maybe that's not the exact quote, but that's kind of the connotation that was made, because she's the superhero in this movie, and Captain Marvel was a man in the books or the magazine. And I think she has a valid point in the sense of, how dare you? She's just acting, right? She got hired to do a job. It was cast as a woman. And she took it. Like, why should she feel like shit? If you don't like it, don't watch it. I respect that decision.
Dude, she did phenomenal. I thought
she could have worded it differently, right? But in the heat of the moment and all that, do you really know how to word it?
Well, that's just how the news is, bro. You can slip up one little easy way, and then all of a sudden you're fucking twisting your words, and now you're racist.
But that being said, I get the other side too, because for so long, you have a vision of what this universe is going to be, and everything left and right is just almost identical, right? You got your Spider-Man, you got your Iron Man, all this stuff is just hitting right on the head. And then the politics come into play, and they change the character to be a woman, for what reason, right? Could it have been a man, and the role would have been just as good? But there's a big push to prove that women can be just as powerful as men and all that, and I'm okay with that. And I think it's fair to allow women to be cast in these superhero movies and be top bill.
I don't think it would have been a good movie with a guy.
There you go.
because the way the storyline is made up or told, and how she's trained, and who's training her in the movie, and just the feel of the movie. I don't think a man could have pulled it off.
There you go. See, and that's worthy response. Now, it's kind of funny you say that as well, because Shazam comes out around the same time, is also Captain Marvel. I don't know if you know that. The character Shazam in the DC world was Captain Marvel. And then they had some I don't know if it was cross collaboration or if they were together at that point and split apart, but the Captain Marvel name and brand went along with Marvel, obviously, and they turned the character into Shazam, but it's the same character. Captain Marvel is Shazam. And so we got 2 Captain Marvel movies, 2 completely different stories. And so you liked Captain Marvel. Well, I absolutely adored and loved Shazam. My son, Jagger, has been, he's 7 going on 8. And one of the things he struggles with that I think a lot of kids who aren't bullies, who aren't the tough guy in the class, they struggle with self-esteem. I mean, you see all these other kids, you could be shy or whatever. And Shazam presents a superhero movie where anybody, even someone with flaws, can still be the chosen one, like the one right for the gig. And so it was a great moment because my son had done something to where he didn't think he was the perfect, I'm not great. I suck. I'm bad at everything. And you try to tell your son, no, you're not. You're awesome. You're a wonderful kid. It doesn't mean you don't make mistakes, right? That same message that I was giving him that day about some of the things he had done wrong made this movie. It was just the moment for me, but every bit of this movie was both funny and entertaining and passion. I recommend it. It is uplifting. It is feel good, but it is one of the better DC comic superhero movies. And if adapting this into the world, which they did do, of the other comics, only solidifies and boldens that world. And I really think that they needed this to get people into the DC comics. I mean, Aquaman got good reviews, good enough. Wonder Woman got good reviews. But, they're already rebooting their Batman, right? And it's the same world with the same things. And Superman, who knows what the hell's going on. I really love Superman, man. He's my favorite superhero. Shazam comes along and he makes me think, like, maybe that's a better superhero than Superman. Maybe not. I don't know. But at least it makes you wonder. If you see it and you understand where his powers are coming from and you understand what he can do, he's on par with Superman, in my opinion.
That's true, too. I mean, he really is.
So, bring your kids to that. Bring Leanne to that. I think you all love it. And it's getting good reviews, and I think they're already casting for Shazam 2. So, yeah. Hey, one other thing. Actually, a couple more things. I'm just gonna run down this list real quick. But we talked about it on one of the last podcasts we were on together about Google might be coming out with something. And then since they have, you probably already heard this news. But I want to get Joe's take on this as well, because it seems to be game-changing and revolutionary. Their Google, we all know how powerful they are. Supposedly, they have perfected or are perfecting the ability to do all the processing on their end. Right? All you have to do is have an internet connection of like 2 megabytes or more and a Google Chromecast or your cell phone, and you'll be able to log in to the Google Stadia, and play any game at 4K resolution, 60 frames per second, and all the processing is going to be on their end. So everyone's going to have the same ping. Everyone's going to have the same image that they see. There is going to be no, I came around the corner first and you didn't, and you came around the corner first on your side and I didn't, and one of us wins because one of us has a better ping.
I think it'll pick up, but I don't know if it'll stick, man, because it's going to be one of those it's going to be one of those things you can't manipulate, and I don't think people's going to like it.
Well, what do you think, Joe, if they come out and say the system is free? You just got to pay for the games, and the games are only playable on our system, I mean, they're going to be fighting with Microsoft. They're going to be fighting with Sony. I mean, it's going to be game-changing if they truly can produce...
Well, Google has enough money to fight with anybody, so...
Yeah.
Whatever they want to do, they're going to do. regardless if it ruffles feathers or not. I mean, they got enough money and enough pull to literally do whatever the hell they want.
Well, you saw the controller, and that's now official. That controller, I'm pretty sure, is what they revealed. And they also talked about the Stadia, and they said what they're going to do. They're saying, well, what about the input lag? Like my controller, right? That's going to be dependent on my Wi-Fi connection. And they're saying they figured it out. I did get to play Assassin's Creed Odyssey on my laptop, which is a mid-tier gaming laptop. It was 4K supposedly coming through. I can't tell the difference, to be honest, on a lot of this stuff, but it played seamlessly as if it were installed on my hard drive, and it was coming from their servers. I did do that testing. I had nothing bad to say about it. I know some people did the input lag testing and things and said it is fishy, and they don't believe until they see that it's not. Google has responded and said that they have made leaps and bounds since the November testing, and that when this thing does launch, that it will be stable and that it will be consistent. People are still questioning that, but they have every right to, because the input lag, the ability for you pressing a button on your controller, it wirelessly making it to your network, and then going from your network to the Google servers as fast as your eyeballs see that shit on the screen. It's just hard to believe. It's hard to believe that everything.
Yeah, it is.
But then you look at a game like Fortnite or Call of Duty. Fortnite's the most amazing in this sense, because, Joe, when you see these people building these structures at the speed of light, and yes, they can build palaces in 2 seconds, but when you have two people who have similar skill sets in a tournament, and you watch these people, the input lag and the ping are so critical in those moments, because it's literally like they're both hitting the buttons at the same exact millisecond. Who gets that thing down first? It matters based off of their lag and based off of their, everything else is automatic. They're both hitting the same buttons at the same exact time. They're both climbing these structures as fast as possible. So the systems have to be able to keep up. If Google can perfect that, Sony and Xbox are in a world of trouble if they're trying to sell systems. Why would you pay $400 if you can pay $0 and get the same games on that and play it on your phone and switch it over to your TV in 2 seconds?
Yeah.
And they're also trying to perfect the ability to stream. Supposedly, they're going to have it's always going to be on their servers. So they're going to have instant stream capabilities where you just hit a button and your channel is live instantly, as opposed to hitting a button, connecting, waiting for the servers to sync, you sending your signal to them. It's going to make all of that way easier straight to YouTube. And YouTube is a Twitch competitor. Twitch is Amazon. Amazon is a Google competitor. These two are going at it, just like them and Microsoft. Google, like you just said, they're picking a fight with everybody. They have the money to do so, and they don't give a shit.
Sure don't, man.
All right. I know we're getting deep. I'm going to stop. I want to hear a little bit more. For all of you who don't know, Joe is a little bit of a Borderlands freak. And he talked a couple weeks ago about Borderlands 3 coming out. That was an awesome, awesome rundown, Joe, by the way. Really given the details on like the different types of characters, and your insight, because you've been playing these games for so long, really helps, I think, sell the game for me, because I am a Borderlands fan. I've had a lot of fun, but I've never played it at the level you have. I mean, the last time I played Borderlands was years ago, and then I've dipped into Borderlands 2 on the VR, have not played that at length yet. And I remember playing with Jed and maybe even before his wife was around, and I played Borderlands 1 with him like a lot. I did play that a lot, but we're talking like mid-stage Xbox 360. Like, when did that come out?
I want to say 2000. This October will be 10 years. So,
Yeah, see, we're
2008,
talking
9.
That's a long time ago. And that game, I still remember moments in that game, like specific moments, coming around the corner and having,
It's one of the best
you know,
games
those,
ever, bro.
I don't know the names. I remember Jack, but just certain moments in that game, and the ending. That was one of the best endings.
Well, I'm going through the the remastered one right now, and I haven't played that game in a decade. But as soon as I start a mission, I'm like, oh shit, I got to go up here and do this, this, and this. I'm like, damn, why do I remember this? Because it's that good of a game.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what we're gonna get out of the current release. What just came out, what happened, and why did you pick it up again? Like, tell everybody what's going on.
Well, what came out was so they did a remaster on Borderlands 1, $30. They added some new weapons. They added more loot. I think they added a few more missions because I'm doing a couple of missions I don't remember doing. It's all 4K, and then they also
is it
did
worth it? Like the 4K, is it noticeable?
Oh hell yeah, it's noticeable. Dude, it's ridiculous. And they also did a map update, or not a map update. Oh, they also added the mini map. There wasn't an actual mini map indicator in the first one. You had to keep going to your map to find out where you're going.
They did add a mini map. Okay.
They changed that. Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel got a graphics enhancement to 4K, and that was free if you already have it downloaded on your PC or
and that's on
PS4,
PlayStation 4. What does that come in? A specific pack, or do you know?
Talking about the update for the graphics.
Yeah, like is that on PlayStation or 4 or 3?
Yeah, if you just Google it, like Borderlands 2, I forget what it's called, like remaster or something like that. But it's just a pack you download for graphics.
Okay, I guess what I'm asking is there a pack I can get that's all of it, but also includes the remastered?
No, there's not.
Okay.
The Borderlands Remastered Game of the Year Edition, that's what it's called, is just standalone by itself.
Okay.
But it's worth it, man. I mean, it's $30, and you're gonna put 50 plus hours into it. They upped the level because it used to be, I want to say like 40 or something, or 41 was max. Now it's 69, I think. They max it. So pretty much you can basically max out all three of your skill trees, which is awesome. I'm using Mordecai right now. He has the Blood Wing.
Uh-huh.
That's your special move. He throws out a bird, and it comes out and shits on the enemies. I can attack up to 6 times now with it. Baller, son.
What about, okay, so say you're playing, right, and you play a bit more than me. If we try to play together, what's going to happen there?
So if you join me, let's say I'm level 20 and you're level 1, you can play with me, and I can almost power level you through whatever, but you're ineligible for all the quests because you haven't gotten to that point yet.
Okay.
Now, if you're 25 and I'm 20, I'm eligible for all the quests that I haven't done, and I can meet up with you. So, say we're at level 10 together and we go to sleep at night, and I jump on and go from 10 to 15, I can join your game. You still get experience, you still get everything like that, and I can help you with those missions still and meet back up.
I got to ask you,
so
though.
It's not a game.
I got
to dive in. It's not a game
in.
you have to play with your.
Are you saying we're going to sleep together at night?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, why not?
All right.
In June when I come down, scoot over, Crystal.
That's right. Get out of the bed. What you talking about? Scoot over. Get out.
Yeah, man. I'll get into more details on the next podcast about more Borderlands stuff because I've only got about 10, 12 hours in right now.
Well, I'll tell you something special that's happening literally as we speak, Joe. I wanted to wait till this moment to be able to buy Borderlands for you. Or for me, for you. And I'm doing it as we speak. Okay?
Hell yeah.
I'm buying Borderlands 7 right now.
Borderlands 7?
It's funny to buy a game that you've already bought multiple times. I've bought Borderlands 2 3 times. I've bought, because you buy the package and all that, but I got it on Xbox and Xbox One. What is Bloody Harvest? Borderlands 2 Bloody... I haven't seen all these.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Borderlands stuff, man.
Did you get the is there any what comes with the pack here? Do I get any backgrounds or anything?
You get 75. So if you get the Game of the Year edition, I just got the regular Game of the Year edition.
Yep.
You get 75 golden keys, and you start off with 2 over-leveled weapons to help you out.
You see, what are these things that you can get online? I forget what they're called. I guess the keys, right? I guess.
Yeah, the gold keys.
Yeah, I guess
they open up a golden chest that's got better loot.
Well, I found a website that says you can, and I don't know if this is still going or not. Probably is, but they keep a database of keys, like thousands of them, and you can try them, and a lot of them work.
Yeah, you can try them. A lot of them do work, and if you follow Randy on Twitter or you follow Borderlands on Twitter, they're always posting keys that's good for everybody, and they expire at a certain time.
So if you have the Handsome Collection, that comes with, let's see, what is this? Oh, okay. So the Handsome Collection came with an Ultra HD texture pack. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But that's not the 4K. Does that come with part 1?
The Borderlands Game of the Year edition is 4K.
It's Borderlands 2 and Borderlands the pre-sequel. Okay, so this is only those 2 games. It's not the first one.
Yeah.
Just trying to get the best bang for my buck, you know.
I hear you.
So I'm going to tell you right now, the cover art for Borderlands 3 looks ridiculously awesome. I mean, it's just like, I would get that tattooed on my back. It looks so cool.
Mm-hmm.
I probably question myself later, but, you know. But this, have you ever seen the theme for the PSVR Borderlands 2?
Nah.
Because I think I talked about it a long time ago when I first got it, but it's the best theme on the... there's 2 themes that... or 3, okay. The first one, I love the bacon sizzle theme, all right? It just is bacon sizzling for permanently. I love that. But 2 is the Tetris Effect song and theme. It's just such a really serene, you know, it's awesome. It's like very entrapping, mid-tier techno. It's really cool. I love that theme. But the Borderlands 2 VR theme that came with the purchase of that game is the best theme on the PlayStation. And you would love it, but there's only one way to get it. And June, you're going to make that decision. All right? What's going to happen, everybody?
I'll make the decision in June.
What's going to happen, everybody, is I'm going to literally hold him at gunpoint. Because in Florida, we're allowed to have guns everywhere. Like, we're just maniacs down here. And I'm going to hold him at gunpoint. He's going to walk in my door. I'm going to throw him to the fucking ground. I'm going to put the gun in his mouth. And I'm going to say, Joe, I'm serious. Buy a PlayStation VR. And we're going to go down to Best Buy. And we're going to act like best buds. And I'm going to have that gun right up the back of his neck. Man, that's getting gruesome, isn't it? All right, I'm not going to do that, Joe. You can come visit. He's like, yeah, I'll be there. I'm just kidding. I am checking out for Borderlands 1. And it's happening, dude. Confirmed purchase. Done deal. That's what you do to me, man. That's what you do to me.
Oh yeah, man, you gotta buy it.
I did. It's done. Done deal. I'm now $240. I bought 7 copies. I don't know why. It's what you do.
Better pass them out. Well, but I gotta pretty much wrap it up here in a second. No, dude, I gotta go do something.
All right, everybody. This is it's really a blessing to be able to get back on here with you guys. We're gonna be pumping out content, like we said. Joe he's gonna be streaming. He's top tier in his class of sniping, and if you don't catch him, you're missing out.
Missing out.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be backing that shit up with some mid-level to low play game, low-level gameplay. I'm looking at my library in front of me here. I got some old school games like Perfect Dark Zero and The Force Unleashed. I'm going to hit this backlog. What I'm going to do is tear through it. Joe's going to be sniping bros while I'm trying to figure out what to do in Red Dead Redemption 1. You know what I mean? But without further ado, we're going to wrap this thing up. I'm going to get this review, these reviews down for some of the stuff. Joe's going to be, doing Joe.
Doing my thing, being Joe.
Yeah, being Joe. And I don't know. I'm super excited, man. I'm super excited about what we got coming. And, we put a lot of time and effort into this whole thing. And now it's really going to start pumping out. So, I don't know. That's all I got.
We're going to get there.
Yeah, we got there. Hey, and check out cdkeys.com. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Just send us your credit card.
There you go.
I'm fucking around. All right, well, I'm Kevin.
I'm Joe.
And this is...
The Backlog
Exposed.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good one. Yeah.